Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I bring you an entirely new twist in the stormy love story of single mom Ly Hoai Ca and Officer Hùng. In this episode, an unexpected event unfolds. The man who once bravely risked his life to save Hoai Ca suddenly confesses his feelings. But this isn't just a simple confession, it's a heartfelt declaration carrying years of silent love and longing. How will Hoai Ca react to this? Will she remain steadfast in her love for Hùng, or will she be moved by Ho's sincerity, the man who has always been quietly by her side during her most vulnerable moments? And what will happen if Hùng discovers this secret? Among these three people, will it be love, sacrifice, or an inevitable confrontation? Stay with me until the end of the video to witness this breathtaking development, where every decision could change the fate of them all. Since the day Hoai Ca came into his life, Ha had become a completely different man. The once stoic, quiet man who only knew work and duty had now turned unexpectedly gentle and patient. He never said it out loud, but anyone could see his quiet care, from silently helping Hoai Ca carry heavy things to waiting late at night outside her house just to make sure she got home safely. When Hoai Ca went missing, Ha nearly collapsed from worry. He stopped eating, stopped sleeping, and used every bit of strength and every connection he had to search for her in the wilderness. Through sleepless nights by the campfire, his eyes were red, not only from the smoke, but from fear. The fear that if he didn't find her in time, he would lose her forever. And it was Ha who held her in his arms when she was trembling and exhausted after being stranded in the harsh wilderness for days. But everything changed when Hoai Ca regained her memory. She and Hùng, the steadfast policeman who had been her safe haven countless times, found their way back to each other. They were like two pieces of a destined puzzle, slowly closing the distance and filling the emptiness in each other's hearts. Ha stood silently on the sidelines, watching, not interfering, not demanding. He told himself, as long as she's happy, I'll step back. But the human heart isn't made of stone. The more he tried to bury it, the stronger his love grew, like a smoldering flame that needed no wind to ignite. Ha had tried many times to walk away, but every time he saw Hoai Ca smile, even if it was for Hùng, he simply couldn't extinguish what he felt. And then, he decided. He had to say it. No matter the outcome, he could no longer stay silent. That day, Hoai Ca invited Ha to go into the forest with her to pick bamboo shoots, a routine they often did together like close friends. The atmosphere at first was quiet, with only the rustling of leaves in the wind and the distant hum of insects. From time to time, Hoai Ca turned to look at Ha, as if she wanted to say something, but didn't. She didn't notice the look in his eyes, a look full of words left unspoken. They stopped beneath an ancient tree, where sunlight filtered through the leaves, scattering into fragile beams. Ha stood still for a long moment, his fists clenched as if fighting an internal battle. Then, suddenly, he turned to face Hoai Ca. His voice was low, trembling, but resolute. Hoai Ca, I know you love Hùng. I don't deny that. But, just this once, let me say everything I've been holding back. Hoai Ca froze for a moment. She looked at him, wide-eyed. Ha drew a deep breath, summoning all his courage for this one moment. I love you. I've loved you since the day you walked into my life. I know I may not be the one you choose, but I don't want to stay silent forever. I just want you to know that there's a man who would do anything for you. Hoai Ca stood still. Her heart raced, but not because of love, because of shock. Ha's voice broke, but his resolve didn't waver. If you give me a chance, I promise I'll love you and Tani as if you were my own family. I don't need you to forget Hùng. I just need to be by your side to protect you until the day you no longer need me. The wind swept through the forest, rustling the leaves as if bearing witness to it all. Hoai Ca lowered her head, her eyes welling with tears. In that moment, she saw a different Ha, no longer the reserved, quiet man, but a heart burning fiercely for her. Yet, Hoai Ca couldn't give him an answer. Not because she didn't know what to say, but because she was afraid that one word could shatter everything, their friendship, her gratitude, and the fragile balance between the three of them. Ha remained where he was. He didn't step closer, nor did he step back. His gaze was steady, as if clinging to even the faintest glimmer of hope. Hearing Ha's heartfelt confession, Hoai froze for a moment. In that instant, she couldn't utter a single word. Ha's eyes were filled with determination, but behind them was the fear of rejection, a feeling Hoai could sense clearly. She took a deep breath, steadying her voice as much as she could. "Ha, I'm truly grateful to you. You've been there for me through the hardest days of my life. But I can't return these feelings." Ha remained silent. His lips trembled slightly, but he didn't interrupt. He simply stood there, listening, as if ready to accept whatever Hoai had to say. Hoai continued, her voice low but resolute. "We should keep some distance. Not because I want to push you away, but because I don't want any misunderstanding between us. I hope you'll still stay by my side as a friend, as a brother I can always trust. But love, my heart has already chosen Hung." Her words were like a gentle blade, sharp enough to cut away the last thread of hope in Ha's heart. He lowered his head slightly, his eyes clouded with quiet sadness, but there was no anger, no resentment. "I know," Ha smiled, a faint smile tinged with melancholy but also warmth. "Honestly, I've prepared myself for this for a long time. I just wanted you to know, my feelings are real. But don't worry, from now on, I won't make things hard for you anymore." He lifted his gaze, meeting Hoai's eyes with the same kind and steady look as always. "No matter what, I still hope that in the days to come, I can be there to help you whenever you need. If there's ever a time you feel tired, just call me and I'll be there." Hoai stood there in silence. She nodded softly, her heart overwhelmed with gratitude mixed with guilt. She didn't love Ha, but deep down, she knew he was a man worthy of respect. Ha gave a quiet smile, then turned away. His shoulders seemed heavy, yet his steps were calm, almost peaceful. Perhaps he had learned how to love without needing to possess. And as Hoai watched his back slowly fade into the distance, her heart couldn't help but feel heavy. It wasn't just Ha anymore. Now Du, the man from Hoai's past, had stepped back into her life. Du had long been aware of Ha's special feelings for Hoai, but he believed he was the one who truly deserved her because he was Tony's biological father. Every time he saw Hoai and Tony living in Ha's house, Du's heart ached. He feared the distance between him and his son would only grow, and that Hoai would slowly get used to Ha's gentle care and forget the bond they once shared. That evening, after returning from a long work trip in the commune, Du went straight to Hoai. Twilight had fallen, and the small house where Ha lived was still lit. Standing at the door, Du took a deep breath and knocked. Hoai opened the door, surprised to see him. Before she could say a word, Du stepped inside, his eyes firm, his voice urgent. "Hoai, I know you love Hung, but please, at least give me a chance. Not for me, but for Tony. I can't just stand by and watch my son grow up without a father's love." Hoai froze for a moment. His words wavered her resolve, but she quickly steadied herself. Du took a step closer, his tone softening. "If you agree, you and Tony can come home with me. I'll take care of both of you. I won't let you struggle another day. Hoai, I regret everything that happened in the past. I just want to make things right." The room fell into a heavy silence. Tony was fast asleep in the small bedroom nearby, while Hoai stood face to face with Du, the man who had once hurt her, now looking at her with an honesty she had never seen before. She pressed her lips together, inhaled deeply, and spoke in a calm but firm voice. "Du, thank you. But I can't. I don't love you anymore, and I don't want Tony to grow up in a house without real love. I will wait for Hung. I believe he will come back." Du fell silent. His hands clenched, then slowly loosened. Pain flickered in his eyes, but so did determination, the kind that refused to give up, even if today's answer was no. Hoai turned away, unable to look at him any longer. She knew, even a moment of weakness could pull her back into the past, and she couldn't let that happen. Du stood there for a long time before quietly saying, "I understand, but Hoai, I won't give up. No matter how long you wait for Hung. I'll still be here for you and Tony." Those words echoed in the small house like a silent vow. Lately, Hung was utterly exhausted. By day, he was buried in endless cases at work, and by night, he ran everywhere, desperately trying to scrape together money to pay off his mother's debts. He borrowed from friends, sought help from colleagues, and even swallowed his pride to approach people he had once been too embarrassed to ask. Yet, all that money was just a drop in the ocean compared to the massive debt his mother had left behind. Many times, Hoica sat beside him, gently holding his hand and softly suggesting, "Hung, maybe we should sell that piece of land. Or even sell my old house. At least it would ease some of the pressure." But every time he heard that, Hung only stayed silent. He looked at her, at the love and concern in her eyes, and his heart ached. That piece of land, it was where they had built so many memories together. And her old house, it was all she had left after everything she'd been through. He couldn't bear to take it away from her. "No, I'll find another way. We've already lost too much. I can't let you lose anything more." And so, Hung kept pushing forward. He worked overtime, took extra shifts, and used every spare moment to find additional jobs. Late at night, while everyone else was fast asleep, Hung sat alone at his desk, eyes heavy with exhaustion, but never once giving up. But money wasn't Hung's biggest worry, it was his mother. She, the one who had caused all this chaos, was still hiding, running from the law. Even as her son, Hung never once intended to cover for her. He understood well that family ties could not erase guilt. "She's my mother, but if she's wrong, she still has to take responsibility. I can't let her keep running forever." Many nights, Hung wandered tirelessly, searching for any clue about his mother's whereabouts. Not because he wanted to forgive her, but because he hoped to bring her back, to convince her to turn herself in and end it all. Only then could he face Hoica and himself. From the shadows, Hoica quietly watched him. She knew Hung was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders, but she also knew it was this strength, this integrity, that made her love him. Love him enough to wait for him, no matter how fierce the storms around them became. As for Hung's mother, ever since she knew her son had discovered the truth about her running away with the money, she had been living in constant fear. Every night, she would jolt awake at the slightest knock on the door outside. To her, even ordinary passers-by seemed to be watching her, their casual glances turning into stares of suspicion and judgment. She moved from place to place, never daring to stay more than a few days anywhere. The cramped, damp rooms she rented were suffocating, reeking of mold. But what terrified her most was her own conscience. Every time she closed her eyes, Hung's face appeared, the son she once loved so dearly, now looking at her with nothing but devastating disappointment. "Hung, I didn't want this, but I had no other choice." Yet deep down, she knew such excuses would never save her. The law would not forgive her, and her son, Hung himself, would no longer turn a blind eye to her mistakes. She could only live like a shadow, hiding in dark alleys, avoiding everyone around her. But how long could this fugitive life last? Sooner or later, the law would find her. And when that day came, she would have to face not only the judgment of the court, but the heaviest sentence of all, the judgment from her own conscience, as a mother who had betrayed the trust of her own son. And the story is far from over. How long can Hung's mother keep running as the law tightens its grip around her? And Hung, burdened by endless work, crushing debt, and family pain, will he have the strength to overcome it all and protect his love for Hoica? As for Hoica, how will she choose when standing before her Arha, the man who quietly waits, Tony's biological father who refuses to give up, and Hung, the one her heart has never stopped beating for? This is only the beginning. Unrevealed secrets, intense confrontations, and heart-wrenching moments are still waiting ahead. If you have thoughts, predictions, or your own perspective on what happens next, share them in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because the next episodes will be even more dramatic, and you definitely don't want to miss them.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình sẽ đưa đến mọi người đến với câu chuyện của mẹ đơn thân Lý Hoài Ca về tình yêu, thù hận và cuộc sống hàng ngày của cô. Về cuộc sống thì hiện tại mẹ đơn thân Lý Hoài Ca vẫn đang sống tại nhà của Hà, người mà đã cứu cô sau cái vụ mà bị gần chết của Hoài Ca đấy mọi người. Tuy nhiên thì hiện tại Hoài Ca đã khôi phục trí nhớ, và có một số chuyện xảy ra là Hà, người đàn ông mà đã cứu cô thì đã đem lòng yêu, và lần này anh đã lấy hết can đảm để tỏ tình với Hoài Ca. Tuy nhiên Hoài Ca thì ở trong lòng thì chỉ có mình Hùng thôi, nhưng cô lại đứng giữa ranh giới về mắc ơn đối với Hà khi mà anh ấy đã cứu và tận tình chăm sóc cô. Vậy thì liệu Hoài Ca sẽ lựa chọn như thế nào trước lời tỏ tình của Hà, và liệu cuộc sống có thể tiếp diễn một cách êm đẹp hay không? Hãy đón xem vào tập tiếp theo nhé mọi người.